I just wish they could understand me, you know? And for full disclosure, you know, the journalist reached out to me a few weeks ago and said, hey, I'm doing this, but that's what we're all talking about. Talk a little bit about my New York Times profile. My guy, dude, aura farming. We have to give credit to the GOAT. Pretty sick, right? Picture aura. You know, so there were some jabs in there like, all right, Robert, you made your point. He got some shots in.
So I thought it was interesting that I was seeing this new person that people were referring to as this right-wing, let's see, Nick Fuentes. Who is he and his political views in general? Nick Fuentes is this right-wing, far-right political commentator and activist, best known for leading his faction of young, largely online supporters of gropers. It's interesting to hear somebody talk about this because this type of idealism has been going on for years. I remember listening to the videos that I would see come out about Louis Farrakhan and his anti-white rhetoric. But all of a sudden, this kid who is a linguistic genius, in fact, it's amazing to hear him talk because you can hear these preacher types, this Baptist-style preaching go on. But this kid, he's sharp and he knows what he's talking about and he knows what he wants, what he's thinking, and he makes that very clear and adamant.
Talk a little bit about my New York Times profile. Pretty sick, right? Not gonna lie, pretty sick. The picture, aura. Auraful photo. I appreciate the author of the piece. My guy, dude, aura farming. We have to give credit to the GOAT, Nick Fuentes. Whiny loser, Nick Fuentes. But it was a great piece. I thought it was fair. Honestly, I thought it was fair. It wasn't a puff piece by any stretch. I mean, they're calling me a problem, a mosquito, okay? Calling me a mosquito and my lifeblood is attention and a carnival barker. And, you know, so there were some jabs in there like, all right, Robert, you made your point. He got some shots in, but it was balanced, you know? And for full disclosure, you know, the journalist reached out to me a few weeks ago and said, hey, I'm doing this piece about your generational run. He didn't say that, but that's what we're all talking about. And I said, yeah, what the heck? So I called him and he interviewed me. And it was fair. I mean, much of what I said was faithfully reported in the piece, which is about as much as you can ask for. And I thought it was great. I mean, I think it could have been a little better. I'm still waiting on my profile. I just wish they could understand me, you know? And for those that didn't read it, it's on the New York Times, and they talked all about how my following has grown so much in the past year and how I'm feuding with Trump and I have this thing with Vance, and they talked about all the things people have been talking about. Nobody actually enjoys the company of women. You want to have sex with women. You do not enjoy their company. You want to know why? Because when a guy has a one-night stand with a woman, he goes home. He goes home. Do you want to know why? Because the whole point is not the hanging out at the bar. It's not the flirty banter. It's not the reindeer games. It is a means to an end. So this whole no, we want to be traditionally ice skating with our girl downtown. If you really buy into that, you are a sucker. That is a psyop. You have been told by women that that is what you want. You have been told by women that it is good and wholesome to want to go on dates, on excursions. And really by that, I mean excursions. You have been memed into thinking that you really enjoy courtship into thinking that you really want to be putting up with all this nonsense, because that's all it is nonsense. All they do is say the dumbest stuff. They're all pick me. All women are like children. It's like a child and their father. It's like, your dad puts a song on the radio and you go, I like this song too. This is my favorite song too, right? Like, women are constantly seeking approval, constantly seeking attention, and they do it in such a transparent way. They're constantly, and they have no center. They don't have opinion.
I also wanted to mention what he said about women and voting. I think this would be very interesting. Fuentes has repeatedly expressed deeply controversial and widely condemned views about women, including, and when I see this, expressly expressed deeply controversial and widely condemned views. Widely condemned by who? You talk about him having a groper nation that's following him around. It doesn't sound like he's alone. Opposed to women and the right to vote. An interview with public statements, Fuentes has said that he believes women should not have the right to vote. I think this is great. He gets you guys so crazy about this stuff, but he supports his ideas. And all you say is we should have everybody vote because we're a republic, we're a democracy. Mob mentality that we're talking about when we're saying just give everybody a ballot, that's crazy. Especially when we talk about non-Americans, that's even crazier. And there's people that think that that's okay. He claimed that if he were elected president, he would take away the right for tons of people, women for sure, to vote. Oh my gosh, this guy should be a comedian too, because he gets some people so crazy about this. Though this is his view, and instead of laughing at it, you guys just get crazy. So what he said about women and voting, a couple other things here. He's has been accused of misogynistic rhetoric. Fuentes has described women in derogatory terms, demeaning terms, and suggested gender roles should be sharply traditional. Here's what I've got to say about this. So he has an opinion about fat women, ugly women. I hear women all the time on social media running guys down, talking about how they're not six-figure guys. No one's getting crazy about that, but all of a sudden he's got an opinion about it and it's now misogynistic. Please save your sensitivity and your feelings for someone else. He also makes offensive remarks implying women primarily exist for childbearing. I believe that women have 100% corner on the reproductive end of childbearing, I think, that's for sure. So if he says some other things that might be offensive, well, I would just say that's too bad. Thanks for listening.